On the news, two young sisters, Joyce and Elce, just 12 and 10, trapped in a dark, cold basement by their stepfather. Scared, alone, and unsure if anyone will come to save them.
Could you imagine the terror of being locked away?
Stay with Dignity Diaries to uncover their story. Now imagine it's not just a headline, it's your child, your niece, your granddaughter.
How would you feel?
What would you do? Joyce pulls Elce close, her voice trembling as she tries to hide her own tears.
Shoo, don't cry, Joyce whispers. I promise we'll find a way out.
Every day, stories like this happen to children around the world. They're not just victims, they're survivors, left to fight battles far beyond their years.
This could be happening in your neighborhood right now, behind closed doors. But what chilling secret did these sisters uncover?
Don't miss the shocking reveal with Dignity Diaries. Here's the twist. What these girls uncover is more than just family secrets, it's a truth so sinister, it changes everything.
Where are you watching from? Tell me in the comments, I'd love to know.
And don't forget to subscribe to Dignity Diaries for more stories like this.
Let's dive in and uncover their fight for survival and the shocking truth behind it.
The creaking of the heavy metal door echoed throughout the basement as Joyce, 12, protectively held her younger sister, Elce, 10, close. Darkness enveloped them as Robert, their stepfather, turned the key from the other side. The metallic echo of his footsteps receding up the stairs was the last sound they heard before the silence became deafening.
Shoo, don't cry, Elce, Joyce whispered, although she could feel her own tears rolling down her cheeks. We'll find a way out of here.
The basement of their home, once just a storage space for old boxes and forgotten memories, had now become their prison. The damp, cold air seeped through their thin t-shirts as they tried to orient themselves in the dim light. A small window near the ceiling, barely larger than a book, filtered the last light of sunset. Everything had changed 3 months ago when their mother, Sandra, had to be hospitalized due to a relapse in her cancer treatment. Robert, the man she had married just 2 years earlier, revealed his true nature as soon as Sheila crossed the hospital doors.
Kind smiles transformed into cold stares, and sweet words became sharp orders. Do you think Mom will be okay?
Elce asked, her small, frightened voice echoing in the darkness. Joyce tightened her embrace, recalling the last time they had seen their mother. Sheila had looked thinner and paler than ever, but her eyes still held that glimmer of determination that had always characterized her.
Of course she will, little one. Mom is strong.
You'll see, she'll recover soon. What Robert didn't know was that Joyce had been preparing for something like this since she started noticing changes in his behavior. She had been hiding small supplies in various nooks of the basement, behind old boxes and under dusty sheets. She had stashed away bottles of water, some cans of food, and, most importantly, an old mobile phone with its charger. As she guided Elce towards one of the corners where she had set up a space with old blankets, Joyce thought of the events that had led them to this point. That afternoon, they had discovered something in Robert's study, something they should never have seen, a finding that explained his sudden change in behavior and his obsession with keeping them away from certain parts of the house.
Joyce, Elce whispered, pulling her from her thoughts, what are we going to do with what we found?
Joyce looked toward the small window, where the last rays of sun painted elongated shadows on the concrete floor.
For now, we need to keep ourselves safe, she replied, reaching behind a box to pull out a flashlight. And wait for the right moment. What dark truth lies hidden in Robert's study?
Keep watching Dignity Diaries for the chilling discovery. What the sisters had discovered in Robert's study was just the tip of the iceberg, a small part of a much darker secret hidden within the depths of that seemingly normal house, a secret that could explain not only Robert's change but also their mother's mysterious illness. As night fell over the house, Joyce held tightly to her sister's hand, knowing that the coming days would test all their cleverness and bravery. In the darkness of the basement, surrounded by old boxes and dangerous secrets, the sisters prepared for the most important battle of their lives. What Robert couldn't imagine was that by locking them in the basement, he hadn't silenced them, he had put them exactly where they needed to be to uncover the whole truth. The first night in the basement stretched on like an eternity. Joyce kept her eyes fixed on the small window, counting the passage of time by the changes in the light outside. Her thoughts constantly returned to the events of that afternoon, replaying every detail in her mind like a looping film. It all began when Elce noticed something strange about Robert's behavior during lunch. His hands were shaking when he served the water, she had whispered to Joyce while they washed the dishes. And he kept looking at his phone. Robert had rushed out, forgetting to lock his study door, a thing he never did. The sisters, driven by months of growing suspicion and concern, seized the opportunity. What they found in the top right drawer of the desk left them frozen, a manila envelope full of medical documents. Joyce, Elce called from her nest of blankets, interrupting her memories. "Do you think the papers we found have something to do with why Mom isn't getting better?" Joyce bit her lip, recalling the medical reports they had discovered, documents detailing an experimental treatment, but not for cancer. They were reports about unapproved drug tests, and their mother's name appeared in several of them. "I think we discovered something we shouldn't have seen," she finally replied, moving closer to her sister. "Remember when Mom started to get worse?" It was right after Robert insisted on switching her to that new private clinic. Elce nodded, hugging her knees. The nurse, Willie, always seemed worried when she checked Mom's medications. "I once overheard her arguing with Robert in the hallway." Joyce remembered that day. Willie, an older nurse with years of experience, had been suddenly reassigned to another floor of the hospital the very next day. At that moment, she hadn't thought much of it, but now a noise from upstairs startled them. Heavy footsteps echoed throughout the house, approaching the basement door. The sisters held their breath as the footsteps stopped in front of it. Will the sisters escape, or will Robert's sinister plan succeed? Stay with Dignity Diaries for the heart-pounding conclusion. Dear friends, we hope you enjoyed this story as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you with Dignity Diaries. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to do so. Your subscription means the world to us and helps us keep sharing amazing and heartfelt stories with you. Your feedback is incredibly important to us. Did you like the story? Please leave a comment and let us know what you think. It helps us continue creating stories that resonate and inspire. Right now, a playlist of more stories from Dignity Diaries is appearing on your screen. We invite you to explore and enjoy these other captivating tales. Thank you for being part of our journey with Dignity Diaries. We look forward to sharing more stories with you soon. Until next time.